Hey guys, it's KK. I hope you all are doing well. I am sharing with you all my process for creating a pocket letter today. So I'm starting out with this pattern paper, and I don't have any embellishments to go with this pattern paper. So that is one of the challenges for me, is just to use paper and layer paper up to embellish these cards, which I don't mind because at the end of the day you're going to send this to someone, so you don't want it to be too bulky or too heavy. So after I get these cards cut down, what I do is I kind of lay them out on my mat the way that I want them, and I kind of faff with them a bit just to get the balance right, or what seems right to my eye, so I can know exactly how I want them to lay out in the sleeve. And once I do that, I just kind of gather them up in that order, and I stack them to the side so I can work on one card at a time. So since I didn't have any embellishments, I ended up using tons of punches for this pocket letter. And on this first card, the two punches that I used were an EK Success label punch, and that doily was from a Martha Stewart punch. And I love that Martha Stewart punch. I think it is so adorable, and it's a perfect size. My only complaint is this: it is so difficult to get a clean cut from that punch. I have to literally put all of my body weight on it. And I don't know if mine's defective or if that's just the nature of that punch, but it is really difficult to get a clean punch. Now on this card, my struggle was this: I wanted those banners to be kind of off center to the right, and for some reason I could not get them in the right position. So I put the butterfly on there, and then I had to take it off and put it on again. I think I faffed with it for just a little bit, and I think maybe take them off 2 or 3 times so I can see if I can get it right. It should not have been that difficult, but for some reason it was. I did ink around all of the papers on this pocket letter because I didn't have any embellishments. So since I was just using paper, I thought that maybe the ink would add a little bit of cohesiveness and maybe a little bit of depth to the papers. So I finally get that card done, and I'm going to start on the next one. Now on this next one, what I do is I decide I'm going to layer a couple of squares, and then I realize that the layer is the same as the background paper, so I realize that's not going to work. What I do then is scrap that idea, and I just take a Stampin' Up! Oval punch and another Stampin' Up! Punch that has some hearts, which is my absolute favorite punch. I use it all the time. And I just layer those up with an enamel dot and call that one done. It was nice to use my punches and just to not really have to worry about anything except, I wasn't going to run out of paper. I had the entire 6x6 pad, so it was nice to just be able to use things, and if it didn't work, just change it up and use some other kind of paper. So I'm coming back to that sheet of pattern paper that has the cameras on it that I cut the square out of, and I'm going to go ahead and layer that one up with the piece that has some script on it. And on top of that, just a Stampin' Up! Label punch that's been stamped with just a note. And that is usually where I will put my letter. So I like to use something like just a note or hello, something like that there. And this center one, I just stamped hello you because it had that ribbon from the pattern paper. Okay, this is totally random, but if you watched my last video, I talked about how I hated my chestnut roan ink, and I realized today that the reason is the previous packaging was much more bulky, which that charcoal ink in the white container is the old packaging, and it's much more bulky than the new packaging, and the new packaging makes it so difficult to hold on to, and that's why I'm always dropping it. So anyway, back to the center card, the one that says hello you. What I usually do is I'll stamp some kind of sentiment like hello or happy day, something like that, in that center card, and I won't fill it with really anything. I'll just put some sequins in the front of it, kind of make like a little shaker pocket, and I'll show you that at the end. And then on this card, I just used a couple of scraps and a circle punch, another one of those hearts and some enamel dots on there. And I decided I didn't like the way they were balanced, so I just switched them around. Now on this next one, I go ahead and punch out a tag, and then I cut a few strips from the pattern paper, and they say things like remember, wonderful, fun times, and I just kind of layer those up with some enamel dots on that one, and I call that one done. I purchased this stamp from Hobby Lobby, I believe, And it's what I'm going to use on the next card. And all I'm going to do is punch it out on some craft cardstock, and the stamp says, do more than you need to, care more than you have to, learn more than is required. And I just stamp it on some craft cardstock and layer it over that piece of pattern paper there in the background. And for the final card, what I do is I have half a doily left over from something else that I did, and I decide I'm going to adhere that onto there. And I put the doily on there, and I decided to punch out a circle and just adhere that to the center of the doily, so that way whoever I send this to, I could maybe take a thicker and put their initial there or something like that. And I thought that would be cute. So with that, I am done. And there's some still shots at the end. If you're interested in trading pocket letters or swapping, just let me know, leave me a message, and we can do that. I would love to. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'm improving or I get better as time goes on these process videos. Until then, have a great day, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon. And coming up is a picture of that center pocket where I would put the sequins in front of the pattern paper. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.